Tonight on ABC News Live Prime, dozens arrested in an NBA Mafia gambling scandal.
Look, let's not, mince words. This is the insider trading saga for the NBA. That's what this is.
In a story that sounds like a plot from a movie, an NBA coach and a star player among the more than 30 people indicted in a pair of illegal gambling cases that prosecutors say put pro basketball in bed with the mob, allegedly cheating victims out of more than $7 million.
I'm Aaron Katursky with the incredible details of two alleged sports gambling schemes now sending shockwaves through the sports world and the sports betting world.
The shocking images where the East Wing of the White House once stood, now reduced to a pile of rubble, demolished to make way for President Trump's new $300 million ballroom. Historians are calling on the administration to pause until plans can go through the legally required processes.
I'm Mary Bruce at the White House, where the president, who once said this project wouldn't interfere with the current building, now says plans have changed.
Kim Kardashian reveals she's been diagnosed with a brain aneurysm, suggesting the cause of it, pure stress. Can stress lead to the dangerous diagnosis? The medical experts weigh in. AI in Hollywood. Artificial intelligence is used in more industries than you know, including in front of the camera, from the silver screen to the small screen, from protecting the likenesses of major stars to reversing their ages for roles. The entertainment industry is embracing the technology. We go inside the new way of making movies in tonight's Prime Focus.
It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Charlie Puth, he's got a new single, a new album, and now a new family member on the way. He's here and tells us what he's most excited about in this newest era.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is Prime with Linsey Davis.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Linsey Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. It is a busy Thursday night. We're tracking that increased scrutiny on that East Wing demolition and dramatic dash cam video of a crash that left 3 people dead. But first, we begin with what officials are calling one of the most brazen sports corruption schemes in years. The FBI is charging an NBA coach and players with far-reaching gambling schemes. Tonight, dozens are under arrest. Tens of millions of dollars are involved. Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier is accused of what the FBI is calling insider trading for the NBA. He allegedly told gamblers to bet against him, faking an injury so his scoring points would be low. And Hall of Fame player and head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, Chauncey Billups, was arrested this morning, accused of luring victims into poker games that were fixed, allegedly run by the Mafia. A former teammate and assistant coach of LeBron James also indicted. Authorities insist James has nothing to do with the scandal. We have ESPN insider Tim Bontemps standing by with the latest he's hearing from league sources. But first, ABC's chief investigating correspondent Aaron Katursky leads us off.
Tonight, an NBA coach and a star player among more than 30 people indicted in a pair of illegal gambling cases that prosecutors say put pro basketball in bed with the mob.
Your winning streak has ended. Your luck has run out. Violating the law is a losing proposition, and you can bet on that.
Federal prosecutors say the Mafia paid Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups and former Cleveland Cavaliers player Damon Jones to lure unsuspecting victims to high-stakes poker games in the Hamptons, Las Vegas, Miami, and Manhattan. The Bombsters called the celebrity athletes face cards and the victims fish.
What the victims, the fish, didn't know is that everybody else at the poker game, from the dealer to the players, including the face cards, were in on the scam.
Prosecutors showing off technology they say the Mafia used to rig the games, including an altered card shuffling machine and an X-ray poker table that could read cards face down, allegedly cheating victims out of more than $7 million. And there were real victims here.
Correct, absolutely.
Lured to these poker tables by Chauncey Billups?
And others, exactly.
Billups, who coached the Blazers' season opener last night, placed on immediate leave. So was Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier, who was charged in a separate indictment involving illegal sports betting.
Terry Rozier, right foot discomfort, doubtful to return.
Prosecutors say during this game in March 2023, Rozier, then with the Charlotte Hornets, tipped off bettors that he would fake an injury and come out of the game to enable them to place fraudulent wagers on him underperforming, the winnings totaling more than $200,000.
The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity.
Prosecutors also allege then-coach Damon Jones knew LeBron James would miss a Lakers game against the Milwaukee Bucks with an injury and sold that information to bettors, texting, "Get a big bet on Milwaukee tonight," before the information is out.
Let's not, mince words. This is the insider trading saga for the NBA. That's what this is.
Really just shocking stuff here. Aaron Katursky joins us now. So, Aaron, prosecutors say these illegal gambling operations were widespread. Tell us more about some of the details that really stood out to you.
Yeah, they stretch back to at least 2019. There were arrests today in 11 states, Linsey, and these things included an X-ray poker table, a special card shuffling machine that could read the deck, even special glasses and contact lenses that could detect secret markings on the cards. The victims never had a chance at winning. And these cases and the association with the Mafia threatened to cast a pall over the NBA's opening week. Tonight, Linsey, the NBA says it is cooperating.
All right, Aaron Katursky for us. Thanks so much. Joining us now for more is Tim Bontemps, senior NBA writer for ESPN. Thank you, Tim, so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Just want to start to your reaction to all this, including the idea of a coach telling gamblers, look, I'm going to throw a game for profit.
Well, for some of your viewers, Linsey, I would say that they probably were surprised by this entire thing. But for people in the NBA like myself who've been following this for a while, Terry Rozier and his involvement in this goes back to, as you showed earlier, that clip from 2023 in that game when he was playing for the Charlotte Hornets against the New Orleans Pelicans. So at the time, Rozier was investigated by the league. He was later cleared, returned to play. He's been with the Miami Heat for the last year and a half now. So it was not a surprise necessarily to see his name come up as related to this case. What was a surprise was hearing Chauncey Billups' name come up, a guy who's a Hall of Fame player, a sitting head coach of a rising team with the Portland Trail Blazers. I was watching their game last night. They had a competitive game with the Minnesota Timberwolves, with Anthony Edwards, one of the best players in the league, having to beat them at the very end of the game. And I left watching that game thinking, all right, Portland's about to have a good start to their season. They feel good about where they're headed. And all of a sudden you wake up this morning and their coach has been indicted and their whole season has been turned upside down. And that was really, to me, the biggest surprise from an NBA perspective, was seeing a guy like Chauncey Billups involved in this. That was really not anything anybody saw coming.
Of course, you have a number of sources in the NBA, including players. What are they telling you tonight? I
mean, everyone's, I think, really, Linsey, trying to wrap their heads around this happening. I mean, as Aaron alluded to earlier, there's been an incredible opening couple of days for the league. Victor Wembanyama from the San Antonio Spurs had a fantastic game last night. The defending champions, Oklahoma City Thunder, went to double overtime and won their opener on Tuesday. There's all this excitement here in New York about the Knicks. They won last night. That's been a very good start to the year for the NBA over the first couple of days. And then all of a sudden you wake up this morning and everything is turned upside down by a federal investigation and indictments of multiple players and a sitting NBA head coach. It's just something that nobody could have really expected to happen. And it's going to take some time not only to process what happened today, but to see if anything happens in the future, because the feds have said that they're still investigating, and the investigation remains ongoing for some time.
No doubt this is a nightmare for the NBA. Do we have any sense of how aggressive the NBA has been in trying to root out gambling among coaches and players?
Well, the NBA has worked with sports books and with the federal government on these investigations, and with sports books on these investigations of things that played out. Let's go back to this Terry Rozier example, right? The moment that those bets were placed on that game, they were immediately flagged by the sports books. The betting was shut down on Rozier's unders in that game. And the NBA has pointed to, Adam Silver's been a proponent for legalized gambling and has pointed to the fact that this is above board and legal, and through public means that you can immediately identify trends like this that come up in betting, right? When you see a player like this that's, an average player, a decent player, having a ton of betting on the under on his stats, all of a sudden you go, wait a second, what's happening here, right? So the NBA, I think, would point to that. However, as I said earlier, Terry Rozier went from being investigated to cleared and now indicted. I think that's going to be a question the NBA is going to have to answer, as to how this thing played out the way it did and why we're sitting here now with Terry Rozier being indicted for something they said he was cleared from some time ago.
Yeah, such a black eye here for the NBA. All right, Tim, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate it. There are new images of the White House tonight as the AP reports that the demolition of the East Wing is now complete. Work crews are pushing forward on President Trump's new $300 million ballroom. Will the renovations stop there, or is there more on the way? Mary Bruce reports now from the White House.
Tonight, the stark images where the East Wing of the White House once stood, now just a pile of rubble. demolished to make way for President Trump's ballroom, which Trump once said would cost $250 million and now says will run some $300 million. Satellite images show the dramatic transformation. This was the White House complex less than a month ago, and here it is today. President Trump once claimed the ballroom wouldn't interfere with the White House itself.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of.
Today, I asked the White House why, once they realized the entire East Wing would have to go, they didn't tell the American people. This is the people's house. Why not inform the public of that change and when it was decided that the East Wing would have to be demolished?
Look, again, with any construction project, changes come. If you look at the renderings, it's very clear the East Wing was going to be modernized.
The East and tearing down are two different things.
Well, again, the plans changed when the president heard counsel from the architects and the construction companies.
The White House still has not submitted plans to the National Capital Planning Commission, and the National Trust for Historic Preservation says they're deeply concerned that the planned 90,000 square foot ballroom will overwhelm the White House itself. This was how it looked earlier this week, and here's a rendering of what it will be, the ballroom dwarfing the other buildings. The president says it will be wholly paid for with private donations and his own money.
And how much specifically are you donating to it personally?
How much am I donating?
Yes.
I won't be able to tell you until I finish, but I'll donate whatever's needed, I'll tell you that.
All of this playing out in the middle of the government shutdown, now day 23. Tomorrow, more than 500,000 federal workers are set to miss their first full paycheck. Food banks across the country, from New Orleans to Salt Lake City, already seeing longer lines, as over 40 million Americans who rely on the federal food assistance program SNAP, many of them in red states, could lose their benefits in just days. The president still refusing to negotiate with Democrats who want to repeal Medicaid cuts and extend Obamacare subsidies to prevent some 20 million Americans from soon seeing their health insurance premiums skyrocket.
So many worried about those premiums. Mary Bruce joins us now from the White House. Mary, we know the ballroom is not the president's first construction project. It sounds like it may not be his last.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The president right now is plowing ahead with this $300 million ballroom, but he's already left a lasting impression on the Rose Garden, where he has paved over the grass there to create a patio. And tonight the White House says that he could be making even more changes here in the future. Lindsay.
Mary Bruce for us. Thanks so much, Mary.
Thank you.
In a surprising move, President Donald Trump said that he is standing down on deploying the National Guard to San Francisco. In a social media post, San Francisco Mayor Daniel Lurie said that the president called Wednesday night to tell him federal deployment plans were being scrapped. President Trump confirmed the agreement in a Truth Social post, saying that he's going to give the mayor a chance to see if he can turn it around. For the latest now, we're joined by Wisconsin Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin. Senator, we so appreciate your time. Thank you for coming back on the show. This is, of course, day 23 of the shutdown. Both sides appear to be as dug in as ever. We had a chance to speak with Republican Senator James Lankford yesterday, and he said these are moments when grown-ups should be able to sit down and be able to talk issues out. Are conversations even happening right now between Democrats and Republicans in the Senate to reopen the government?
Look, there's certainly always conversations going on Capitol Hill, and yes, but negotiations, no. And we absolutely need the Republican leadership and President Trump to move us forward and come to the negotiating table. Look, it is such a clear path to how we reopen the government and bring down costs for families who are going to be shopping for health care in the days to come and are going to be absolutely shocked to see how high their premiums have gone without congressional action. The path forward is so clear, but they need to come down to the negotiating table in order to get this done.
Americans could start to see those notifications about health care premiums going up next year in just days. In some cases, they could double or even more. Republicans say that they'll talk about these subsidies if the government is reopened. If you have your crystal ball here, how does this finally come to an end?
Well, look, as Americans get their notices about what their health care is going to cost, and by the way, I'm already hearing from Wisconsinites who are seeing doubling, tripling, quadrupling of their costs. As my Republican colleagues start hearing from their constituents, this hopefully will elevate as an urgent issue for them. We have seen a few of them speak out publicly. I would say notably Marjorie Taylor Greene, no moderate. She heard from her 2 adult children who got their premium notices in Georgia and are not going to be able to afford their premiums. She said, we got to fix this. More and more of my Republican colleagues have got to acknowledge that and come to the negotiating table. That's how we find the path forward to reopen the government and bring down costs for millions of Americans and prevent nearly 5 million Americans from losing health care because they simply can't afford it.
There's also a November 1st deadline when the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, which helps to feed 43 million Americans, that's going to run out of money. Do you think that that changes the calculus at all for Democrats?
Look, this is a false choice, one that Trump is putting forward as a threat, but we can do all of the above. We reopen the government and we bring down people's health care costs and we keep the SNAP program continuing. And by the way, if the president were serious about this, then a centerpiece of his big, beautiful bill, what we call the big, ugly bill, would not have been the largest cut in American history to SNAP program.
Any regrets at this point with how Democrats have handled the shutdown at this time?
Look, I hear from my constituents in Wisconsin, and again, these policies, if the tax credits are allowed to expire, disproportionately hurt my rural constituents, my farmers, my small business and entrepreneurs. And I hear from them and they want me in this fight. They sent me to Washington to fight for them. And healthcare is such an important thing to have, that peace of mind, knowing that you're able to not only get preventative care, but if there's a catastrophic emergency, that you're not going to go bankrupt. And so they want me engaged in this fight. That's who I'm listening to. That's who I'm fighting for. And we've got to prevail.
Senator Baldwin, we thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The race to become New York City's next mayor is heating up. Outgoing Mayor Eric Adams announced today his endorsement of Andrew Cuomo. Here's our Matt Rivers.
New York Mayor Eric Adams, whose popularity plunged when he sought and received a pardon from President Trump, today endorsing former Governor Andrew Cuomo to take his place.
The mayor put his own ambition aside because he cares more about New York City.
Overnight, Cuomo, decidedly an underdog, clashing on the debate stage with Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani, a 34-year-old assemblyman and self-described Democratic socialist.
You have never had a job. You've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives.
The issue is that we have all experienced your experience. We just had a former governor say in his own words that the city has been getting screwed by the state. Who was leading the state? It was you.
Cuomo has tried to make experience his defining issue.
This is not a job for a first-timer. Any day, you could have a hurricane, you have, God forbid, a 9/11, a health pandemic.
And if we have a health pandemic, then why would New Yorkers turn back to the governor who sent seniors to their death in nursing homes?
After last night's debate, Cuomo raced to join Mayor Adams courtside at the Knicks. They weren't always so chummy.
Andrew Cuomo is a snake and a liar.
But now,
brothers fight.
Cuomo and Adams seizing on Mamdani's views on the Israel-Hamas war to paint him as an extremist. If elected, he would be New York's first Muslim mayor.
New York can't be Europe, folks. I don't know what is wrong with people. You see what's playing out in other countries because of Islamic extremism.
Mamdani casting Cuomo and Adams as puppets of Donald Trump.
We have a president of this country who has spoken publicly of his desire for Eric Adams to drop out of the race. Eric Adams dropped out. Spoken of his desire for candidates to consolidate behind Andrew Cuomo. Today, Eric Adams is endorsing Andrew Cuomo.
Today, Cuomo asked,
Mr. Cuomo, do you offer Mayor Adams anything in return for this?
Don't even answer that, Carrie. That's a Carrie.
Love.
Linsey, Election Day, November 4th, now less than 2 weeks away. Most polls showing Mamdani with a comfortable lead. It's unclear if Mayor Adams' support will help Andrew Cuomo make up ground. Linsey?
Matt, thank you. President Trump has pardoned the founder of Binance, who was convicted during a crackdown on crypto-related financial crimes. The Wall Street Journal reports that his company, the largest cryptocurrency exchange in the world, has been pushing for the pardon for nearly a year. ABC senior political correspondent Rachel Scott has more.
Tonight, President Trump facing new questions about his latest pardon. Crypto billionaire Changpeng Zhao, an influential supporter of the Trump family's crypto business, who pleaded guilty to money laundering in 2023. Zhao, known as ZZ, created Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Prosecutors say he turned a blind eye, allowing money to flow to terrorists, cybercriminals, and child abusers through its platform. Binance paid a $4 billion fine. After serving 4 months in prison last year, Zhao helped strike a deal in May with the Trump family's crypto venture, World Liberty Financial. Today, the president was pressed about why he issued the pardon.
Today, you pardoned the founder of Binance. Can you explain why you chose to pardon him? And did it have anything to do with his involvement in your family's?
Which one? Who is that?
The founder of Binance. He has an involvement in your own family's crypto business.
Yes, I believe we're talking about the same person because I do pardon a lot of people. I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. A lot of people say that, are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything, that what he did, well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing, you fake news. But let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime.
And Linsey, tonight, President Trump facing questions about Zhao and his ties to the Trump family's business crypto ventures. The White House defending the move. The press secretary says the president is within his constitutional authority, Linsey.
Rachel Scott for us. Thanks so much, Rachel. Next tonight, to the truck driver charged in a deadly chain reaction crash in Southern California. That case is now at the center of a new battle over illegal immigration in the U.S. A high school basketball coach and his wife are among the 3 people killed. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman.
Tonight, this dash cam video of a chain reaction crash that left 3 people dead on a California highway, now at the center of an investigation and the debate over immigration. The driver behind the wheel of a tractor trailer facing charges of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated for causing that horrific crash on the 10 freeway east of Los Angeles. 21-year-old Jashanpreet Singh of India was driving with a valid California commercial license, but ICE officials say he was in the country illegally. It comes months after another deadly crash in Florida. The Department of Homeland Security says this driver, also with a California commercial driver's license and in the country illegally, allegedly made a reckless U-turn on the Florida Turnpike, causing a crash that also killed 3 people. California officials say that driver in Florida had a work permit at the time he was issued a license. Tonight, this latest crash in California is under federal investigation, and among the victims killed, a high school basketball coach and his wife. And tonight, the White House weighing in.
These tragedies are following a disturbing pattern of these criminal illegal aliens being issued commercial vehicle licenses. And so, yes, the Department of Transportation is absolutely cracking down on that.
Matt Gutman reporting. We're now learning the cause of death for Kata Scott, a 23-year-old Philadelphia woman found dead in a shallow grave 2 weeks after she went missing. The medical examiner says that Scott was killed by a gunshot wound to the head, prompting prosecutors to approve a murder charge against 21-year-old suspect Keon King. Scott's body was found Saturday in a wooded area near an abandoned middle school. She was first reported missing earlier this month by her parents. Now to Tropical Storm Melissa. As it gains strength in the Caribbean, it's expected to become a major hurricane within days. Here in the U.S., a severe storm threat is in multiple states. Let's get right to our chief meteorologist, Lee Goldberg, from our New York station, WABC. Hi, Lee.
Hey, Lindsay, you know, Melissa's barely moving. She's almost waiting patiently in the Caribbean for the atmosphere to get more conducive for increased intensity, and that's going to happen over the weekend when it becomes a hurricane. It's only 45-mile-per-hour winds now, but anything but weak over the weekend. It's going to rapidly intensify into a Cat 4, maybe 145-mile-per-hour winds, and unfortunately just parallel the south coast of Jamaica, battering the islands for several days. Right now, it's facing this shear to the north, but once that shear weakens and we have the warm waters of the Caribbean, it'll really start to intensify intensify. We've got watches up, hurricane watches, Haiti and Jamaica, a multi-day event with up to a foot of rain, flooding, landslides, and destructive winds that'll take us into early next week. In terms of the tracks after that, looks like it's going to go over Cuba, out in the Atlantic midweek next week. Thankfully, the trend closer to the U.S. mainland, that's stopped. It's likely to head into the Atlantic. Lindsay?
All right, L to the G, thank you so much as always.
Got it.
King Charles has made history after becoming the first reigning British monarch to publicly pray with a pope in nearly 500 years. The prayer is being seen as a symbolic step in reconciling the Catholic and Anglican churches after Henry VIII broke away from Catholicism in the 1500s after the church refused to annul his marriage. However, the visit comes as the royal family is once again embroiled in controversy, facing intense scrutiny over Prince Andrew's ties to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. New video seems to show two suspects in Sunday's heist at the Louvre appearing to make their escape. Investigators hope to find a clue that will lead to their arrests. ABC's chief foreign correspondent James Longman back on the story tonight.
Tonight, stunning new video showing the daring daytime escape after that $100 million jewel heist at the Louvre. You see two of the four suspects wearing disguises huddled in a cherry picker making their escape after breaking into the Apollo Gallery and stealing some of the French crown jewels. Authorities are now combing over this video taken by security, the thieves then fleeing on scooters. You can hear police sirens blaring in the background, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. All four suspects are still on the run tonight. The security camera that should have captured their arrival was facing the wrong way. The museum's director testifying before French lawmakers, revealing the one security camera outside the gallery was pointing in the other direction, so nobody saw the suspect's van arrive.
And one hope for investigators tonight, Lindsay, they found DNA evidence in a helmet and a glove left at the scene by the thieves. Lindsay?
Perhaps a helpful clue there, James. Thank you. Coming up, the show must go on. Broadway's in danger of going dark. Was a strike able to be averted? Hollywood is already harnessing AI, and you might not even know it.
So the performer, the way that they're acting is just as critically important as your technology.
To be totally honest, it's more important.
To make it believable.
Yeah.
But first, with the East Wing now virtually gone in that construction project, we take a look at the history of the now nearly demolished wing of the White House. Welcome back, everyone. The demolition of the entire East Wing of the White House has caught many by surprise, since the public was never told the scope of the work necessary to make room for President Trump's grand 90,000-square-foot ballroom. The history of the East Wing is tonight's By the Numbers. As we heard in Mary Bruce's report, the executive residence is 55,000 square feet in size. Hence the concern by preservationists and others that the new 90,000-square-foot ballroom will dwarf it. A terrace that President Thomas Jefferson added was removed in 1866 from the eastern part of the White House grounds to make room for an enormous complex of greenhouses and plant conservatories. By 1902, the greenhouses were gone and themselves replaced by the new East Terrace, what we call today the East Wing and Colonnade. It primarily served as a more formal entrance for those who were visiting the White House. The two-story East Wing, as we knew it until this week, was completed by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1942. It held offices and a theater and also hid Roosevelt's new underground bunker. First ladies, starting with Eleanor Roosevelt, used the East Wing for their specific functions, but it wasn't until 1977 when Rosalind Carter built the first office there specifically intended for her and future first ladies. Still ahead, goodbye CGI, hello AI. Reporter Nathan Russo-Smith has a fascinating story you won't want to miss about how Hollywood is taking advantage of the latest AI technology to clone your favorite actors. I think Toys R Us is a thing of the past, how the company is reinventing itself for the holidays. Welcome back, everyone. You've probably seen them all over social media, deepfakes like the one behind me, created with artificial intelligence. But you may not know that these are already being used in Hollywood, even in major projects. The AI boom has come to the entertainment industry, and the tech is being used for far more than just changing faces. With concerns about how it could impact creators and performers, we take a look at how Hollywood is handling this AI revolution. ABC's Nathan Russo-Smith gives us an inside look.
So, this is Dorothy, our facial scanning rig.
This vault is one of Hollywood's best-kept secrets. It's not safeguarding money or jewels, but something far more valuable. Digital clones of your favorite actors and entertainers.
3, 2, 1.
This is how the entertainment capital is fighting to preserve, protect, and future-proof in the age of artificial intelligence.
So scrunch your face, yeah.
This endeavor, made by the Creative Arts Agency. It's one of the largest and most powerful talent agencies in the country, representing thousands of A-listers in entertainment and sports. Every movement,
Anger, like rage. So,
3, 2,
and every vocal inflection,
that quick beige fox jumped in the air over each thin dog. Look out, I shout.
used to create and safely store a digital double the talent owns.
Think of it like a bank. If somebody now owns their digital likeness assets, anyone who chooses to do anything other than work with that individual, now there's a stronger case to show that they're infringing on their rights.
CAA wouldn't say which of its many stars have undergone this 3-hour-long procedure, but claims since the CAA Vault launched in 2023, it's been very popular.
Now somebody can show up in a Call of Duty game or in Fortnite or in any of these sort of platforms.
But hiring the AI replica won't come at a discount. CAA argues the value is in the person.
Tell me about your own love for film and entertainment and where that came from.
Oh my gosh, I grew up watching movies with my mom, old school, Katharine Hepburn, Cary Grant, all the old school movies, and really having a fascination with how they were made.
Tucked away in the beachy Venice neighborhood sits Deep Voodoo, an AI company co-created by South Park's Trey Parker and Matt Stone in 2020, when the pair sought to create a deepfake spoof of President Trump.
Hi, kids. I'm Donald Trump, your president.
They had developed this technology along with an incredible team of people and felt like it was too special not to share.
We did an Apple TV show called Before.
They quickly realized the potential beyond satire, building their own facial scanner for actors. And with that data, they show me how AI can in real time de-age Billy Crystal and Judith Light in the TV series Before.
It's gonna be okay, I promise.
Please open the door.
Releasing his first music video in decades, Billy Joel employed Deep Voodoo's tech, his face de-aged and superimposed.
So the performer, the way that they're acting is just as critically important as your technology.
To be totally honest, it's more important.
To make it believable.
Yeah.
Now, would something like that have been possible without AI before?
The issue that people had with traditional CGI is that it came off a little bit eerie, a little bit, some people call it uncanny, right? This notion that it looks almost right, but there's something that's off about it.
Potentially distracting for the viewer.
Exactly, that's exactly right. And so the AI has been able to bridge the gap, some people call it this uncanny valley, to the point where it looks natural, it looks realistic in a way that people can enjoy what they're watching.
I had to try it for myself. Instantly, I'm able to see what would take hours in the makeup chair. And then there was this.
There's two of you now.
Yeah.
I mean, that is...
My teeth, eyes, face, suddenly someone else's. Deep fakes made even more lifelike and harder to spot. Recently, this AI avatar named Tilly Norwood splashily marketed as a future acting starlet, further heightening unease over job security. It's the fear of a rapid, unrestricted evolution that actors, writers, and creatives picketed over in 2023.
From what you're hearing, are they scared of AI, or is it a little more nuanced?
I think it's a nuance, but we don't want it to be paralyzing fear that stops us from doing things like negotiating guardrails and rules, getting legislators and public policy to circle around this in a way that's protective.
Union SAG-AFTRA recognizes there's no one ringing the AI bell, just as there was no escaping piracy or streaming. The union says it's prepared.
Do you feel like the studios have the actors' best interest at heart with how they're harnessing AI?
I would say I think the companies are generally coming at this with a more careful and deliberate approach than I feared might happen, and that is a good thing.
While an AI avatar like Tilly appears more marketing stunt than serious acting contender, how Deep Voodoo harnesses AI has already changed the landscape of Hollywood.
Is this technology going to kill jobs?
Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely
Why not?
Because what this does is it allows stories and projects to happen that wouldn't otherwise happen. You know?
Some of the people that we employed, those jobs didn't exist 5 years ago. AI artist jobs didn't exist.
The AI boom reached new heights when earlier this year Google unveiled its generative AI model dubbed VO3.
I can describe what I want to happen next.
Google showed how it can quickly create realistic-looking videos from scratch with just a few sentences. It caught the interest of famed director Darren Aronofsky, who partnered with Google, creating AI production company Primordial Soup and enlisting director Eliza McNitt to helm their first short film titled Ancestra.
We need to go.
Is your husband here?
This was supposed to be a checkup.
Crash C-section!
The film tells the story of McNitt's challenging birth.
In distress. What is wrong with my baby?
Born with a hole in her heart.
Why did you decide using AI in this moment would be the time that you would tell this story?
There are things that, I wasn't able to achieve before because I have a very big vision of, creating the cosmos and outer space and having these images that are really difficult to achieve otherwise. And so AI was really integral to the process.
Everything you see here has been created with a special version of VO3. In other words, everything is AI, except for the actors in the hospital room.
I felt it was actually quite unethical to shoot with a newborn baby. We wanted to find a new innovative solution to that felt very realistic. So in the movie, what you're seeing is actually me as a newborn baby.
Rebirth through AI, even for a 100-plus-year-old soundstage, complete with a speakeasy in the basement. It's here, surrounded by filmmaking history, where filmmaker-entrepreneur Bryn Moser and his girlfriend actress Natasha Lyonne created Asteria Film Company, a part of tech company Moon Valley.
Why do you think AI is so disarming for people, especially for creatives?
There's somewhat of this old adage about people say things that are evil, magic, and a tool when a new technology comes out. It's evil to the people that are being disrupted. It's magic to the people who own it. And in the end, it just becomes a tool. And so that's the system that we're seeing right now. I tell filmmakers all the time that it's optional to use AI in your filmmaking, but it's not optional to learn about it. We have to learn about it.
Asteria promotes what could be called a commercially safe AI model, trained to only use licensed materials, so there's no fear of copyright infringement from what it creates.
We've been building a model that just came out called Mary, has all the controls I think that filmmakers were asking for and needs, and certainly what our filmmakers here desired.
They show us how with just a few simple prompts, filmmakers are able to turn this still into a video. A stark contrast from Asteria's mission, users of OpenAI's new Sora video generator initially kicked off its release, flooding social media with fantastical AI video clips of copywritten characters. For now, your favorite actors aren't passing off their on-screen performances to their AI clone. But daring to invent new ways to tell stories is something we've seen since the dawn of cinema.
Take off the glass. You said you're a big fan of Katharine Hepburn.
Yes.
If she could see what you guys are doing here, do you think she would sign up to having like a legacy biopic where her face would be put on another actor?
I would hope so. She was such a pioneer and so ahead of her time, always. And I think we honor their legacy by doing it really beautifully, flawlessly. That's what I would want.
It's really all so fascinating. Our thanks to Nathan for that. Coming up, check your fridge, the warning that's leading millions of eggs to be recalled across the country. Plus, multi-platinum artist Charlie Puth is coming out with a new album, and that's not the only new addition he's celebrating. He joins us next. The massive egg recall forcing millions to check their fridge, the iconic director who says he is broke, and the beauty pageant mishap seen round the world. These stories and more in tonight's rundown. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is warning consumers not to consume, sell, or serve certain types of Black Sheep Egg Company eggs that were voluntarily recalled last month due to potential salmonella contamination. The nationwide voluntary recall, initiated in September, impacts more than 6 million eggs linked to the Arkansas-based producer, according to FDA enforcement reports. The FDA has not confirmed whether the Black Sheep Egg Company's products are linked to any ongoing outbreaks. Broadway musicians reached a tentative agreement with the Broadway League, averting a strike that would have impacted several productions. The union musicians had been without a contract since the end of August. The tentative 3-year deal includes wage increases and contribution increases to the health fund. The local 802 union said in a statement that they will bring it to their members for approval. An antique life ring is now Michigan state property after a unique settlement agreement. Michigan resident Larry Orr alleged that state police violated his personal privacy and sued the state police. The state then agreed to pay him $600,000 to settle the claims with a catch. In turn, Orr would give the state an antique life ring that was used on the Edmund Fitzgerald cargo ship that sunk in Lake Superior in 1975. The judge overseeing the case called the exchange unusual. Legendary director Francis Ford Coppola said in an interview with the New York Times that he is broke and is now set to auction off 7 of his personal watches. Among them is a one-of-one custom timepiece designed by Swiss watchmaker F.P. Journe. The watch is expected to fetch more than $1 million at auction this December through the auction house Phillips. Toys R Us is opening up dozens of seasonal stores ahead of the holidays. The company announced plans to open more than 30 new stores across the United States. 8 of the locations will be permanent flagship stores, and more than 20 will operate as temporary seasonal shops. The iconic toy store closed more than 700 locations after filing for bankruptcy in 2017. An awkward moment at an international beauty pageant. The contestants were whittled down to the final top 22 and were being announced one by one to join the other finalists, but the wrong contestant stepped forward.
Next in is Miss Grand Paraguay. I beg your pardon, I announce Miss Grand Paraguay.
Miss Grand Panama realized the mistake and gracefully walked back to her place on stage. Neither of the contestants won the final prize of Miss Grand International 2025. That title went to 30-year-old news anchor Emma Tiglao, representing the Philippines. Now to our segment Prime Playlist Shuffle, where we sit down with the artists who are transforming the music industry. Charlie Puth is entertaining an entirely new era. The multi-platinum singer, songwriter, producer, and a Grammy-nominated hitmaker is coming out with his 4th studio album, Whatever's Clever, next March. You might know him for his hit songs We Don't Talk Anymore and See You Again. He has amassed more than 35 billion with a B career streams. Now he's released his first single off the new album, Changes. Let's take a listen.
Need any help calling like I did? There's been some changes in our life. I can feel the distance. Space and time has made everything different.
Charlie Puth, so great for you to join us. Very cool to have you here with us.
My pleasure.
Give us a sense, because we know that you're known for being a jack of all trades across multiple genres musically. What can we expect on the upcoming album?
I think you can expect the truth. It's fun because I'm always figuring out what the sound is going to be first, and then I fill in the lyrics after. I did that on the last album, I did it on the album before that, and on my first album too. But on this 4th album, it's the first time where I'm putting life first and letting the melody follow.
So you did the lyrics and then created the sound.
Yeah, I figured out what I wanted to sing about, like Changes, for example. And then didn't really have any melody in mind, and then just sung, the melody just kind of fell out of the sky.
That is so cool. Your lead single, Changes, is out now. Very introspective. What inspired you to write it?
I think, well, becoming a dad, getting married, and, well, I'm not a dad yet. I will be
soon
a dad.
To be.
Soon to be a dad. That's a big change. Getting married is a big change to love of my life, best friend, Brooke. And But it didn't start out like that. It's actually about, if you listen to the lyrics and the chorus, it's about the kind of amicable breakup of a friendship. And it just shows you that people are just like listening to like one part of the song. There's been some changes and then the rest is la la la's, because it's one size fits all, really. It's I mean, there's a lot of layers to changes, just changes in general.
Sure.
And I realized the song could be about many changes. It doesn't have to be just about that.
We showed a moment ago just a part of the video where you announce with your wife that you're expecting here. What made you decide, you know what, we're going to kind of make this message to the world in this music video?
Right then and there, while we were filming it, and we were filming it in stop motion. It took 2 hours to get that scene, and that's all those claymation figures right there, kind of a Phil Collins, Peter Gabriel inspired. And we were just looking at each other, and this kind of, you know, when you're married to someone, you have like this unspoken, like you can telepathically communicate with the person. And we just looked at each other and we're like, this is the time. And she was like, I'll get my sweater.
Oh,
and
that's great.
We just figured it out right then and there.
Such a beautiful moment there. Give us a sense of how excited you are to become a dad.
I'm very excited. I feel like the music is going to get better now that now that I'm going to be a dad. And you know, my baby can be whoever they want to be, but I'm going to put the big headphones over Brooke's tummy like my mom did for me.
Oh, nice.
If they want to do music, that's great. That's what I'm good at. Maybe I can help them.
You've just started a new segment on social media called Professor Puth.
Yes.
You talk about history of music, just little tidbits about the music industry. What made you come up with this idea?
I always got a certain joy when my professors in high school and college took the time to make the lessons interesting. I always would, even at the stuff I wasn't good at, like chemistry. If the teacher made the lesson interesting, I would walk away from it knowing that I learned something. And I just want people to know, even if they're not the most musically inclined, if they can't play an instrument, their voice is their instrument. Voices are like thumbprints. There's not one similar voice. So I just want to encourage people to express themselves with art, because I feel like sometimes that's not done.
Professor Charlie Puth.
I got my tie on every day.
Yes, it's really, you got that look.
Yeah.
It's working for you. We thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
And Changes, you can listen to it now wherever you stream your music. Charlie's next album, Whatever's Clever, drops on March 6th next year. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Linsey Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us.